out. And also we're going to have a conversation with a working mother who is trying her best to balance this act. She's Mankah Stephany Fofang. You'll see her in a moment, but let me read your messages first. How do you strike this work-life balance? Did I turn here? Okay. Tato Enominyang, you say, to maintain an effective work-life balance, I follow a strict daily routine and create real life and digital systems that help me work smarter. That way I have the freedom to enjoy the rest of my day with my family and a chance to do other things that I care about. And then we have Gole Ebong as usual. Good morning, Gole. He says, hello, patients. To strike a good balance of work and other commitments, it's all about time. If only you can balance up your time, then it is possible. If you can create time for work, it's normal for you to create time for other commitments. Very important. It's really planning, because some people only create time for work and other things can fall and happen if they can or not. And I'll take this last one from Mac Dino before I meet our next and final guest. Mac Dino says, I think time management is the key to strike a good balance between work and other commitments, because if time can be created respectfully for everything we do, then we're going to see that there will be time and even enough for everything to function smoothly. So thank you again, Mac Dino, for that response, because people keep complaining, I don't have time for anything. I'm so busy with work. That's why I've not talked to my children for 3 weeks. It's really unfortunate, but Mankah is definitely not leaving that reality at all, because she's striking a great work-life balance. Welcome to Cameron Feeling.
Thank you very much, Patience. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning, fellow viewers.
Okay, so we're talking about establishing that work-life balance. I'm going to start by getting to know you better. Okay. First off, I know you're 33.
Yes, I am.
You have 3 kids?
Yes, I do.
Between 4 and 8?
Yes.
And you're married?
And I'm married.
To a dashing gentleman who's hopefully watching us this morning. And then you have work at the Ministry of Justice?
Yes.
Translator?
As a translator.
So we've established the fact that you're married, you have children, and you're working.
Yes.
If I say work-life balance, what comes to your mind?
When you say work-life balance, I immediately think about roles that have to be played.
Yes.
In work-life balance as a woman, I know I am a person, an individual who has her own goals and aspirations.
Yeah.
And then I know I am a wife because I chose that path. So I have duties towards my spouse. And then I have children. I'm blessed with children. So I have responsibilities towards them. So this is what work-life balance is to me, multitasking. How do you establish the link between going to work and attending to the other duties?
Yes.
That's what it brings
Do you
to
ever
mind.
feel overwhelmed? Have
Sometimes
you ever felt
I do.
overwhelmed?
Yes, I have.
What exactly, which part of your life?
It comes in seasons, I would say. At the very beginning, you have young children. When you are at the childbearing stage, when you're giving birth, especially between my second and third, they're very close. One is 6, the other is 4.5 practically. So it's very close. The demand for attention at that time is really high. You can feel really overwhelmed because you are giving out a lot. Yeah. So if you're not filling up your cup, it will run dry. Yes. And then it will be difficult for you to understand or even find joy in what you are doing.
Okay, let's get a little bit of your daily routine. How does it look like the basics of your day?
Well, the basics of my day generally, as I mentioned a while ago, I start by filling my cup because I know that I will be giving out of that cup. So I'll wake up as early as 5 a.m. and I'll exercise. Exercising makes me happy.
Yeah.
So I'll do that. I would read my Bible because I'm a Christian. I'll read my Bible and just try to set myself up for the day. If I have enough time, I would plan at that moment. The previous speaker talked about planning. It's very important to me. I have a jotter.
Yes.
I have it's called the manifestation journal. So I actually write down, I sit down and try to write out my day, what I want it to look like.
Yes.
I may not follow through, but it gives me a mental picture of where I'm going to for that day. So after that, I have to go do breakfast for my kids. That is by 6. I should be in the kitchen preparing their breakfast and their snacks. And I'm fortunate that my spouse is really supportive. While I'm doing that, he has to prepare the kids and then send them over to take their breakfast. And once I'm done with that and they've eaten and their bags are all packed, he takes them to school. And then I can stay back and prepare myself and go to work. So between 8 and 4, latest 5 p.m., I am at work.
Yes.
And after that, I come home. I know I have to meet my kids. We have to do their homework from school. We just have to do that. It's important for them. It's important for me that they have to get an education and they have to learn properly. And they need assistance.
Yes.
So I have to be there to provide that assistance. When I cannot do that, I must communicate with my spouse within the day. His job is more demanding than mine.
Yeah.
So I let him know you have to find time within your day to do this because I cannot do that, and move on to something else. So by 9 p.m. at the latest, I try to make sure that they have gone back to bed, and then I can have time for myself. Personal development is something that is very key to me.
Yes.
It's also a way of filling up my own plate. It's a way of getting the knowledge that I may lack on a daily basis. So between 9 and 10, I try to read a book or just see what the next day will look like, think about what breakfast will be, what will be eaten, and all of that. But you probably will ask yourself, so what happens to laundry or cleaning?
Yes, because I was going to ask, even food.
Yes.
Cooking the meal of the day. How does that happen?
It's challenging because I have to work and I have to tend to my home.
Yeah.
And what I want people to recognize and keep in mind is you cannot do it all.
Yes.
Our mothers in the past were probably at home for the most part. And we're not career women. Maybe our fathers worked and provided.
But then
today
women
we
of
have
this
to
generation
balance.
will do it all. Yes.
So you have to delegate tasks.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm glad again that my spouse is supportive of that. So we hire a nanny who can be at home and do the cleaning and the laundry. When I can, I cook because I like to know what my kids are eating and ensure that there is balanced meal.
Okay.
But when I cannot, I make a meal plan.
Yes.
I buy the items myself over the weekend or the month end, depending on how I schedule that
So you're
month.
still involved?
Yes, I am involved, and then she can prepare it.
Let's talk a little bit about the children, because we see your life really busy. You have a plan in the morning, get to work, you work hard, so even by the time you're coming back, you're tired, you're exhausted. How do you devote time to ensure that you have a conversation with them, you help them with their assignments, and you know what's really happening in their lives?
Okay. One of the ways to have a fulfilled, balanced life is to be able to, one, identify your core values, define your priorities around your core values, and then you set boundaries. Relationships are one of my core values. I value family time. It's passed down from my parents. As busy as they were, my parents would do anything to provide what I needed.
Yeah.
Today I can provide for my kids, and I want to be there in their lives. I want to be their friend. I want to have people that I can talk to, who can talk to me, who can rely on me. So it is a core value, and because it is a core value, I must align my priorities with providing time to be there for my children. I cannot have, kids who, when I think of tomorrow, I don't want a child who cannot talk to me about the challenges they face in life, because they are going to face it. I face it today. And I'm happy that I can talk to my parents about it. But that connection is established when they are growing up. So I have to be there. I come back sometimes, I'm really tired. I'm happy that I've been able to establish their routines, so much so that by the time I'm getting home, 4, 5, they're probably siesting. It gives me about 15, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, to just unwind.
Yes.
Yes, I just get home. I may lie down. I can't take a nap if I have enough time. Like if I get home on the earlier hours, between 4, I know they're just freshly gone to bed, so I can take a nap. If I had errands to run and I get home by 6, then I have less time. But that time is enough to unwind. And then because I know that they are a priority, even when it is difficult, you have to find it in your mind to tell yourself that this is important. Life is difficult, but life is important. We are not giving up on living.
It's not going to stop because it's hard.
That's exactly what I try to do.
All right. Now, you have a kid who is about 8.
Yes.
And they must have experienced a lot before getting to that age. It seems little, but they have a life that they've lived.
Yes.
Are there moments that you feel because of your work you've missed out on some aspects of their life?
Yes. There are moments I feel because of my work I've missed out. For my kid who is 8, for example, I had him while I was in school. Because I got married and I was doing my master's in conference interpreting. So that is when I had him. And for my second year in school, he had to be with my in-laws,
Yeah.
and then with my parents. So along the line, you know, I've had seasons where my son actually prefers to be with his grandparents.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes that can feel overwhelming, but I am focusing on the gratitude part. I am thankful that I have parents and in-laws who can be a support, and he falls back to. And now, how do I catch up the time that is lost?
Yes.
I try to be involved in their activities. For my kids, I love music. I wasn't chance to play an instrument, but I want them to learn it. So I was able, with my spouse, to get them a home music teacher.
Great.
And one of the things my son would have me do is to come sit and listen to what he has learned.
There's that too, yes.
So I think that has given us time to be able to bond and to reconnect, despite the time I may have missed while he was a baby and while I was focusing on schools and getting my certificate.
Let's have this reality check a little bit.
Yes.
As we draw to the end of this conversation, it's important to see that when growing up, discipline was different from how it is today.
Yes.
When you did something bad, mommy can grab a whip and whip you and it was okay. But these days, times have changed, perspectives have changed. How do you deal with that as a mother?
Personally, I have grown to like the idea of no beating.
Okay.
I am opting for communication. It is difficult because, you know, it's like you've grown in a system where
Yes.
if you do something, there's a crack on your hand,
And it
there's a
worked.
whip on your bottom, and it worked.
Yes.
And now it is becoming counterproductive. Like you whip, you're just scaring them away.
Okay.
You have to be conscious of that. You're beating the kids now, you're scaring them away. They can talk, they can communicate, they are people of their own. So I try to dialogue with them. It is really difficult, I must tell you. But I try as much as possible to dialogue with my children. I make you understand you've done something wrong. Sometimes we pick the punishment together and you do it. But most often, instead of beating, I'll tell you to pick a pin. And my daughter,
That's
she would
horrible.
complain.
I hated that one even as a kid.
She would complain, and then she heard me one day telling her older brother, well, if you think about it, it's not really punishment. I'm teaching you to learn how to focus. You know, just focus on what you're doing and you see that you can get balance. And, well, that turned against me because now they use it like it's some activity or some exercise they are doing. And it may not have the effect. But the idea is to dialogue, get the child to understand that they have done something wrong. And very often, even when it's among them, you know, this one beating the other person or this one hurting the other person, you try to ask them, now how do you feel when your sister is crying?
Okay.
You know, mindset.
Stephany, this conversation is so sweet. I hope we can continue some other time, but there are women watching this morning who feel overwhelmed. They are breaking down because they don't know how to establish this balance in an effective way. What is your final word to them?
I can tell you, first and foremost, rely on God. It is a beauty as a woman to partner with God to create and nurture children, to grow the humans that will lead the world tomorrow. Depend on God. He will guide you. He will support you. Define your core values, as I earlier mentioned. Around those values, you can place your priorities, and then you can set boundaries. I know that I will not only gain fulfillment by taking care of my children. I want to work and I want to earn a living. And to do that, I have to sacrifice. So I get someone who is paid to do the cleaning, to assist me at home when I cannot be there. And rely on your families. A lot of times we want to do things by ourselves. You know, you think your parents are so old school, you think they have another notion, but rely on them. They are there and they trained you. And if you're doing it well, then I think they did impart something into you. So you can trust them to assist you when it feels overwhelming. And then take time for yourself. Sunday is my me time. I do what I want to do. There's no cooking. If there's no food, trust me, we're going to eat junk on Sunday.
Or maybe go outside
or go out and eat something.
Somewhere.
And then I do what I want. I like swimming, so I'm learning how to. So it just gives you time to fill your cup, and then it overflows.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mankah Stephany Fofang, and my regards to your husband, because I can see the support he's providing. We need that togetherness to make the family work. And I see your children will be bright and successful because they have that balance in their lives. And that's why we felt like talking about it today. Hope this has inspired you at home to have the appropriate work-life balance. We're going to continue this conversation. But this is all for the program of today. Till Thursday, stay cheerful. Thanks for watching.